निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीति स्याज्जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् हत्वैतानाततायिनः तस्मान्नार्हा वयं हन्तुं धार्तराष्ट्रान् स्वबान्धवान् स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखिनः स्याम माधव. O maintainer of all living entities, what pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Even though they may be aggressors, sin will certainly come upon us if we slay them. Hence, it does not behoove us to kill our own cousins and friends. O Madhav, how can we hope to be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Similar to the previous verses, Arjun continues to explicate his unwillingness to kill his relatives. Addressing Sri Krishna as Janardhan, sustainer of the populace, he said, "Even though I am aware that they are willing to attack us, I feel it would be a sin to kill my uncle Dhritarashtra's sons." Then, addressing him as Madhav, goddess Lakshmi's husband, Arjun said, "It is not proper on our part to kill our cousins and relatives. How can we ever be happy by doing such a deed?" Under most circumstances, killing or taking someone's life is considered a grave sin, which subsequently causes guilt and repentance. The Vedas state, "Ma hinsyat sarva bhutani," do not kill any living being. Unless absolutely necessary in an extreme situation, violence in any form is a sin, and non-violence a superior virtue. In Arjun's case, even though the enemy's wrong deeds were unpardonable, he was not willing to kill them, considering it to be immoral. However, according to Vashisth Smriti, under 6 circumstances it is acceptable to kill. In order to protect themselves from such enemies who have set fire to their property, tried to poison them, conspired to murder, loot their wealth, kidnap or dishonor their women, or seize their kingdom. Even the Manu Smriti mentions that it is not considered a sin if someone kills an attacker in self-defense. Here, Arjun continues to question the moral justification of the war. Even though the Kauravas have committed wrongs, including cheating, humiliation of Draupadi, and seizing the kingdom, Arjun refers to them as aggressors but still hesitates to fight them. He asks a piercing question. Even if they are guilty, what joy, what true victory can come from killing them? Arjun is beginning to see that violence, even in response to injustice, may still bind one to sin if it arises from hatred or anger. His fear is that killing his kin, even in battle, will stain his soul, not uplift it. This is a deep expression of conscience wrestling with duty. He then concludes, "We should not kill them, for they are our relatives." His use of swajanam emphasizes emotional ties over political or dharmic reasoning. By calling Krishna Janardhan and Madhav, Arjun appeals to Krishna's divine roles, perhaps hoping that Krishna will agree with his reasoning. But Arjun's logic is rooted in attachment and sorrow, not in spiritual detachment or clarity. These verses reveal a profound spiritual struggle. When dharma seems to oppose karuna, what should one choose? Arjun's dilemma is timeless. In relationships, we hesitate to confront wrongs for fear of hurting loved ones. In leadership, we fear moral cost even when action is justified. But Krishna will later teach that right action, when performed selflessly and without attachment, does not bind one to sin. What Arjun needs is not avoidance, but clarity and inner detachment, the essence of Karma Yoga. These verses show that noble emotions, when clouded by fear or confusion, can lead us away from our true path, and that's where divine guidance becomes essential.